is that move on to the consent agenda. If there's nothing to pull out, I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Thank you. Second. Thank you, Melvin. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. On to section 3, business transactions. 3.1, consider appointment of Riverside Intermediate Assistant Principal.
Yes, Kyle Kaufman led a committee to search for the position of assistant principal at Riverside, and he would like to introduce the committee's choice.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. It is really a pleasure to introduce and recommend to you tonight. This is Michelle Zentz, and this is actually not the first time that she's been before the Plymouth Schools Board. 5 years ago, she was recommended to be a teacher at Riverside. She taught at Riverside for 2 years. In the past 3 years, she's been the dean at North Miami Elementary. And before I let her introduce herself and talk with you, I do want to share when I spoke with her principal and kind of had that inevitable conversation that she was the candidate of choice. The principal said, I was dreading this call, but man, when she left Riverside to come to North Miami, she was already great. Now she's 1 in a million. So very proud to recommend her to the board tonight, and excited for what she can do next year for our students. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me this evening. I am thrilled to be back with Plymouth Schools. I wasn't looking for a position, but I heard that Riverside was looking for someone, and that is home. So to come back to Riverside, I'm just super excited about what we're going to need to do and what the future holds for us. So thank you so much for having me. Welcome back.
So I'm asking the board to approve the appointment of Michelle as the next assistant principal at Riverside.
So moved. Thank you, Ron.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations. 3.2, update on curriculum and curricular adoption.
Yes, it is me. Typically at this time, we bring to you a recommendation for adoption for what curriculum materials we'll be using for the fall. However, we have kind of a stalemate right now because there's discussions going on with the DOE legislative teams with regards to having vendor approved curriculum materials decided by the state. And so our science teams, 7 through 12, have still reviewed materials, have prioritized those materials. They're still available for any public review, but we will not move forward with the recommendation until we get and obtain more information from the Department of Education, and hopefully that will be.
So say we're waiting for them.
Yes. Yes.
Legislative session.
Unfortunately, with this one, they had said that if it does get accepted, that it would be for immediate instead of, so we wouldn't be able to say that something was grandfathered in. So we want to make sure that we are in alignment with directives given to us.
3.3 is student transportation agreement.
We have a transportation agreement with Laville Schools for one student that goes to Basher. They pick the student up and transport them there and then bring them back. So I'm just recommending that we approve the agreement with Laville Schools.
Motion approved.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. 3.4, consider approval of settlement and permission to sign forms.
Yeah, over the course of this school year, PCSC has been involved in litigation against Jewel Labs Incorporated. The litigation has resulted in a settlement between Jewel and schools from all over the United States. In the agreement, PCSC will receive $58,426 for damages, minus a fee for the attorneys. And there is the potential to also receive a small bonus as well. I would like to give a special thank you to Jeff William for his efforts in directing us through this process. And I'm asking the board to approve all settlement agreements and that are presented and allow me to sign them on your behalf.
Motion to approve. Thank you. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. 3.5, consider new and revised policies and guidelines. Second reading.
Yeah, this is the second reading for these three policies, and I'm just asking the board to approve the second reading and the adoption of these policies.
Motion to approve the policies and guidelines, please. Second. All in favor, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. 3.6, legislative update.
I know
Mr. Mayhew.
Laura might jump in on this one, but we spoke earlier. The one that I'm really looking at is House Bill 1001. As it passed the House, it's in the Senate now. The bill outlines the budget for schools, and it is somewhat of a mixed bag of things. On the one hand, there is an increase in the foundation portion of the funding formula for students, which would seem to help support the growth in teacher wages. However, the bill has also wrapped up into it a foundation increase that will be used for curricular materials, so textbooks and things like that. So on one hand, it looks like we're going to be getting a lot of money. On the other hand, they're planning to have you pay for textbooks with it, so that kind of takes away from the teachers, which is not a very good thing. So that was the one that, to me, that's the one that is really important. It also could be problematic because, as you know from Jerry McKibben's talks, we're going to lose enrollment over the next 4 or 5 years. And as we lose enrollment, there goes more dollars. So the combination of having to pay for textbooks out of that portion plus losing enrollment is not a good thing for us. And Laura, you can jump in at this point.
Well, thank you. Actually could jump in on a couple points. I'm gonna jump in as a parent first. Because I have 2 high school students and I do get those textbook fees and they can be burdensome. They're usually several $100s, but everything is relative and everything is really about kind of priorities. And so while it seems like it is a very good idea to have the state pick up the textbook fees, which Indiana is like only 1 of 7 states to not do that. The fact that they're making it come out of the funding increase now basically offsets any help for the school corporation. And so as a parent, to me, that's not a good trade-off. That's not a win for me because my school gets hurt in the process. And so one of the things that Mitch and I talk about is how do we get the public aware of these issues? When you see headlines of increasing, money going to public education or going to education, typically K through 12, not mentioning the public education piece, because the other part of it is, and again, everything is about how relative it is to something else, is the increases to public education are about 5 to 6%. But then when you talk about the increases they're talking for private vouchers, it's 70%. And that is a major concern. And we're aware of it because of our professional associations, but I'm not so sure the public is aware of it. And so bringing it up at the school board meetings, hoping the press will pick up on it, and talking to our neighbors, I think is very important in this process. So I agree with what you're saying. This is, a concern and something we need to continue to watch as well as contact our legislators about. The other bill that I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update on from last time was Senate Bill 486. Last time when I talked to you, it had been put to the Appropriations Committee. It has since been voted out of the Senate, been passed by the Senate, and it has now gone to the House of Representatives. That was a bill that had all different types of provisions in it. It had, for instance, changes to the discussion laws between administration and the exclusive rep. But the other piece that I'm not so sure public is aware of is the changes it would make to mandatory training. So you do hear many times teachers say, we have all this training we have to do. And absolutely, we do. And as I thought about it a little bit more, and I look at the different trainings, and what this bill would now do is take away the mandatory part of it, pretty much put it in your laps as a school board of what to use and what not in the training. The question is, what training do you get rid of? Do you get rid of the suicide awareness training? Well, we know here in Plymouth, we've had some areas where that has become very helpful for us. Do you get rid of the CPR training? When we've had, again, within Plymouth, within the last couple of years, where a teacher has to have to perform CPR on a student. So then are you getting rid of seizure awareness symptoms? I know a lot of parents that would be very upset with that if they know. And so again, I guess the question is, and if anyone has the magical answer, please let me know, is how do we get the public to understand this? These are real life issues, life and death issues. And what's going on right now in the State House is not very favorable to public education, especially communities like Plymouth, when we see that having an impact on the funding or the impact on our students within our classroom. So just wanted to give you an update on that, and it still is a concern.
I just have a quick, like, do we have an idea of what the understanding is of why they're removing mandatory? Like, is it so that schools have more flexibility with the money that's being spent for the training, or?
So it's mostly in the name of deregulation is what I understand of, so the training, you know, the CPR training, we are lucky enough we get that for free through a relationship we have with Gibson Insurance and some of the other services they provide. There is free suicide awareness training. That's on the IDOE website. What you hear in most of these cases from the sponsor, one of the sponsors of the bill, who is Linda Rogers, she talks about it's a deregulation of education. Well, it is an attack on public education. And she's using that as a mask, in my opinion.
Thanks, Laura. I can't talk more.
Let you go first.
Yeah.
All right, so section 4.1 monthly remarks. Mr.
Yes.
Order.
Congratulations to Brittany Sabitas and Valerie Moore for being recognized as the Region 2 School Support Professional and School Business Official Award recipients by IASBO. The work they do is very much appreciated. So that's a round of applause. I would like to thank all who donated to PCSC. Michiana Behavioral Health donated $1,833 to the junior high. Grant Mason donated a piano to Riverside Elementary, estimated at about 48 grand. And several local vendors donated to Lincoln Junior High and to Bus Driver Appreciation Week. Bus Driver Appreciation Week was very fun. Thank you all. Jason Rivich has been appointed the new Director of Adult Education. Jason has been an adult education teacher for both Warsaw and currently Plymouth. He worked as a special education teacher and or adult education teacher in Warsaw from 09 to 14. He has worked for DCS since 2015. The last part of that stint was an educational consultant. We believe Jason will be a great addition to the work already being done by LLN, and he will be an excellent recruiter for the students leaving high school who do not have a plan for after graduation, so we welcome Jason. A committee has been formed to work on redistricting and has met once. That was on February 24th, and we will meet again this Friday, March 10th. There will be a meeting for the public to attend on March 28th at the high school cafeteria, 6 p.m. to update the progress of this group. And our next regular meeting will be right back here on Tuesday, April 4th at 7 p.m.
All right, done 5.1 audience participation on agenda items.
Congratulations.
All right, 6.1 adjournment.
So moved.
Thank you. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.